fortresses, satanic worship at Skull and Bones, Bohemian Grove, force bases, nuclear missile command bases, in deep orbit, just particle beams, savage, life extension fortresses. Gay marriage, total. Did you read the New York Times? Oh, we're such intellectuals. Oh. I mean, you people live in the matrix that think I'm a kook. And White House, connected groups write articles when I talk about begging trendies to listen to me. Alex says no one's listening to them, and he's begging people to listen to him as his credibility falters and as his popularity implodes. And yeah, and Kate Upton's ugly. This show is exploding in popularity. People are listening all over the place. Massive, massive awakening is taking place. Massive awakening is taking place. Huge. And then I read these articles that are just meant with their little echo chamber socialist followers to read it and to feel like they're the establishment and they're trendy and they're winning. I mean, it's literal mind control of a bunch of pathetic mental midgets busy talking about how smart they are. Let's go now to Jakari Jackson to finish up with his report and go to Joe Biggs to get his military perspective, because I know he's been in a lot of martial law areas, to get his take on what he saw there last night in Ferguson, if he liked seeing people have laser systems pointed at their chest. Because from what I've seen in military situations, checkpoint videos, unless they're getting fired at or things are really dangerous, you're not aiming guns at people's chest unless you think that they're about to attack you. That's very provocative. So we'll learn if he even did stuff like that against enemies in Afghanistan and Iraq in a moment with Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs. But first off, Jakari, any other points?
Yes, Jakari Jackson reporting from Ferguson, Missouri, the site of the riots following the shooting death of one Michael Brown. Now, we're here at the Quick Trip store, and I want to point out to you, Alex, the Quick Trip store that was burned down. When it all hit the fan, this is all the employees had to fight back with. This one little extinguisher, maybe they had a couple more in the store, but this is what the armaments were that they had to fight back with, to put out the fires, to defend themselves. That's pretty much all they had when the looters came. And it goes to tell you, to all the people who say, why do you need this, why do you need that to defend yourself? Because, a fire hydrant isn't going to stop a whole big fire. A fire hydrant isn't going to stop a bunch of looters who come into your store. And I'm not blaming Quick Trip for that. I just want people to realize this. This is why you need your Second Amendment. So looking more at the damage here, it's what you see. It's all tore up. You see the wires hanging from the roof, charred down, nothing usable. And I've been in several Quick Trip stores during my life. Like I said, they're based in Oklahoma. And, I can imagine what this used to look like, with the soda fountains and all that. But there's nothing here but just charred remains.
Well, Jakari, I just want to point out, somebody tries to come burn up our operation or any business I'm in or my house or my family, they're going to get met with the Second Amendment. Now, right. I know that's blasphemy to the socialists that have been conditioned to just bend over and get raped, but not me. And, of course, notice we interviewed the gun shop owner. They were right down the street and right next door to a place that got looted. They didn't get looted because they had AR-15s.
Yeah, we went to that location last night, and we saw how, it's pretty much a clean area. Like, you have the gun shop and a couple shops on either side that were pretty much completely untouched. And then up and down the street, either side, the Dollar General, some other stores, they even raided a Christian day school. For whatever reason, they bashed out one of their windows. I'm not exactly sure what the looters plan to find in there. But, yeah, other than that, the gun shop owners, they stood their ground, and they made sure that the protesters knew that, this isn't a place that you want to come.
Well, that's what it comes down to, and, automobiles are much more dangerous than firearms, but people don't have any reverence of them. This 357 Magnum that I've had in the radio studio for 10 years, of course, I got an AR-15 right over there as well, or an M4, and then we got, of course, 308 Reapers, 50 cals, whatever we need. I mean, it's not that we're even living in fear. We're living in strength. We're living in security. We're living in the fact that it's our job to protect ourselves.
Right. And just like you alluded to, the police were very busy the nights of these riots. And even talking to some of the guys in that area over there near the gun shop, they said, hey, we're not so much mad at the police. We know they had a lot of stuff going on. They couldn't put out every fire, so to speak. So that's why we defended ourselves. You know, it's not so much us against them dealing with the police.
Sure.
We stood our own ground, and when we had a visible presence out here, nobody wanted to mess with us. Like, they passed over them, you know, like those stories in the Bible. You know, they passed over. They said, we don't want anything to do with those guys. So that's why you need to have armaments to protect yourself.
Jakari Jackson reporting from Missouri. Thank you so much. We're now going to go to Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs, retired, and get his perspective here in a moment as a veteran, multiple tours in Afghanistan and Iraq, who ran a lot of security duties, a lot of checkpoints, you name it. I want to get his take on the overall response and what he thinks about all this from Ferguson, Missouri. We just skipped this network break. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we will be taking your phone calls and getting in to the latest Ferguson revelations, but also the latest Snowden revelations that he says can break down the entire Western system. It'll come out they're running little kids and stuff. They'll probably get medals. They'll probably say, if you aren't for being a pedophile and, you know, snuff filming 3-year-olds, you're a racist. And then it'll probably become something they teach in public school. I mean, I'm not kidding. At this point, they'll probably have Christian churches endorse it or something. I mean, that's how sick these state-run churches are. But is there anything that'll bring down this corrupt system? Because the system is run by evil people. That's why all of it top-down is illegitimate. And I don't know what we replace it with, because the society's so corrupt as well. We now go to Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs, retired, reporting from the outskirts of St. Louis there in Ferguson, the epicenter of what is becoming the new Trayvon Martin scandal, with a professional FBI provocateur, race baiter, COINTELPRO officer Al Sharpton there on the scene, trying to stir things up, along with Reverend Jesse, FBI operative, was there helping set up Martin Luther King Jackson. So, according to people that were there. But again, joining us, Joe Biggs, you've been there. I don't know your take yet. I'm about to find it out. You shot a lot of that video last night with Josh Owens and Jakari. What's your take on it?
Joe Biggs, Infowars.com, standing outside of the QT in Ferguson, Missouri. Last night was very intense, Alex. I mean, emotions were high. You know, we got out here, and like Jakari had said earlier, the police told us we could walk down this way, and it's about a mile walk. And they said that we'd be able to speak to somebody. And it was crazy. We didn't even see the riot police standing and blocking the bridge. We automatically headed straight over here to this this Quick Trip and started filming. And I could hear a clash, like the baton against the shield. And we looked over to the right, and these guys were lined up, ready to go. And at this time, there weren't many people out. They were standing in front of their vehicles. About 45 minutes later, I would say about 10 to 15 vehicles started driving down the road, and behind them anywhere from 150 to almost 200 locals from the area were marching down with their hands up, screaming, "Hands up, don't shoot," and chanting that they want justice. Now,
we've got the video of them with the guns on the dashboards and on the hoods of the armored vehicles, aiming them at people. It's HD. Jakari says he did witness the red lights. I've seen in some of the video what appears to be red lights. We need to blow that up and illustrate that for people. You know, expand that HD video, zoom in on it for folks. Did you witness that? And if so, what type of firearms did they have trained on the peaceful protesters' chest?
Yeah, I saw that up to, I would say, anywhere from 10 to 12 times I saw one of the officers point the rifle with a laser beam on someone's chest. Like Jakari had said earlier, there's a clearly marked line across the road right before you cross over into the bridge area. Most of the protesters sat there on their knees or stood up with their hands up in the air. If you cross that line as a protester, they automatically put that red dot on your chest. Josh was able to get his camera and work with the light a little bit, and he asked me to come over, and I looked at the camera, and I could see the guy carrying what seemed to be an AR-15 with something on the bottom. I was assuming it was probably a 203 grenade launcher that they can use to put tear gas and smoke into to shoot. On top of that, he had, you know, a laser mounted on top of that as well, with a pretty big sight. You know, they were sitting there. You could hear them when we walked around the side a little bit. You could hear them communicate back and forth, say, "Hey, move the lights. We can't see this guy. Hey, this guy just moved his hand." And they were moving the laser around back and forth on people. You know, at this point, most of the riot police had moved behind the MRAPs that were you know.
Do the police there, I mean, I know these are sheriff's department and city police, do they have any idea what's going to happen if they mow down a crowd of black people? This country is going to burn to the ground. And it is extremely provocative that the cops are doing that. And I want to say right now, that police chief needs to stop them, or he needs to have that city council shut him down right now.
Well, they need to come out and give a statement as to what their side is right now, because, you know, as you know, last night another shooting happened. Another person was critically wounded out here in Ferguson, a mile away from where we were, just, you know, moments after we had left this area. You know, last night the mobbing was happening. The people were, you know, gathering up in numerous parts of the town. The spot we were at last night that we came to was by far the largest gathering of people protesting with the bullhorns and all that. But there was another spot about a mile behind us where there were people that started gathering after we started pulling away. And it was just intense everywhere.
Disperse now, or you will be arrested.
Yeah, you could hear them, and they were also telling people as well to get out of here. You know, you couldn't be here anymore. Basically inciting a curfew, you know, telling the local residents that they could not be out on their streets.
Well, I get the fact that you can bring a curfew in martial law if there's looting and stuff, but this is day 4 last night. There wasn't any looting going on. Looters would have been back in the dark doing it. These are people protesting, a lot better-looking crowd of older folks, well-dressed people, you know, a lot of really concerned-looking people. The first night was a bunch of thugs using Craigslist, we confirmed, to use this as an excuse to go rob stuff. But the next few nights, it's concerned people from what I've seen on the video. Is that an accurate statement, or is it incorrect, Joe?
Oh, that's very accurate. I mean, one of the guys we spoke to last night, right towards the end, very well-educated, very articulate man, and he said that, you know, from what he believed, most of the people that were riding around here, you know, the initial time when that happened, weren't even from this actual area right here. Most of the people here from this area are, you know, coming out, cleaning up, and trying to, you know, clean up the mess that was made by these outsiders that came in.
Yeah, no, it's on record that a bunch of thugs from other parts of St. Louis came down there to join in on the fun, and you know,
they took complete advantage of the situation, and they used that as a way to release anger and just unleash hell on this small town. Right now, there are people walking up and down the streets, families with children, you know, anywhere from 3 years old all the way up to, I've seen 60 years old. Yeah. The community's out walking around right now with shovels, with trash bags.
Well, it's going to be just like it's going to be just like V for Vendetta. I keep telling people this: they're going to shoot a crowd when things collapse. Somebody's going to shoot a kid. The bullet is going to go through somebody and hit a kid, and then all hell's going to break loose. And I don't care what the police departments do. Everybody's going to join in, and the police are going to make themselves the enemy, which is what the globalists want. We do not want an us-against-them mentality. And the police, I can see them having riot batons, or if people charge them, pointing guns at them, or something like that with rubber bullets. But when you are pointing live ammo at people with laser sights to try to intimidate them, all that does is make people angry. Now, I am told somebody threw a water bottle at the police. So,
yeah, that's when things got pretty heated, because I didn't actually see. I was looking right at the actual the riot police, because they were just now moving the vehicles around.
This is mainly the sheriff's department, correct?
Yes. The bottle came overhead and hit the ground, and I just heard a thud, and I kind of, like, you know, bent over a little bit because I didn't know what happened, and all you could hear was screaming. Everyone's running off.
Yeah,
and then,
well, that person's an idiot. That person's an idiot.
Everyone in the crowd was like, "Why would you do that? You're going to get someone killed. We're trying to be here peacefully." Minutes later, everyone got down. They said a prayer, and they were talking about, you know, how they wanted to bring change, that what's going on here, the violence is no way to solve a problem, because all this did was hurt their community. This is a gas station that people went to every day to fill it before they went to work and to buy things for their family. And now they no longer have that. If you look over here to the left, you can see people out here. They're actually part of the cleanup crew to help get this place back together again.
I tell you what, we're going to break. I want to spend 5 more minutes with you to talk to that guys. You know, tell those folks coming up that you're live on air and see if they want to talk to us. Joe Biggs, we'll come back after break and talk to you, get some final comments, and talk to those folks that are walking up. And then I will go to your phone calls. Felicia, Mac, Artie, Matthew, Kyle, and others. Then I'll get into Snowden. The story's up on Infowars.com. He says there's a holy bleep smoking gun revelation coming. Whistleblower says government believes he has information that would, quote, be the death of them all politically, close quote. I am Alexander Emmerich Jones, reporting from Austin, Texas. Our valiant reporter.